What's happening, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by 101 CBD. As time goes on, we're really starting to understand the health and the medical benefits of CBDA or raw CBD. Now that A just means that it still has the delicate acid molecule still attached to it. Because you see, most CBD products, when they're processed, they get heated up or burnt or what's called decarboxylated. And that heat causes the acid molecule to evaporate off. That's why raw CBD or CBDA is considered to be a truly full spectrum whole plant extract. And that raw CBD is exactly what you get in every product from 101 CBD. So go over to 101cbd.org, order yourself some raw CBD, and don't forget at checkout to use coupon code IMGS25 to get 25% off of that order. Now, since we're talking about it, I want you to remember that November 9th is when the CBD Health and Wellness Expo is going to happen at the Ventura County Fairgrounds in Ventura, California. So if you live in the 805 area code or you're going to be visiting, I want to invite you to come on down and enjoy the expo. Because I think it's a great place, especially if you're not really familiar with what CBD is. It's a great place to really compare products and talk to some of the reps there and see what the differences really are between products without having to drive all across town to figure it out to talk to somebody. Okay, so don't forget, that's November 9th. Is the CBD Health and Wellness Expo 2019 happening at the Ventura County Fairgrounds in Ventura, California. Well, all right. Now let's start the show. Brothers and sisters, welcome back. This is the In My Grow Show, the podcast dedicated to taking the mystery out of cannabis. I'm your host, Alex. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to me. Now, I did not have a show last week because I wound up getting a migraine. And while I do take a whole bunch of CBD and other medicines for it, it does take away that really rough edge of a migraine. You know, because usually if I really get a bad migraine, I kind of lose vision in my left eye. Not completely, I don't go blind. It's more like I'm looking through water. That makes sense. But anyways, yeah, so everything I take takes away like that sharp, really gritty edge of a migraine, but it still leaves behind like a massive headache. And I couldn't really sit in front of a microphone and talk with headphones on, and then it just wasn't happening last week. And I tried to play catch up, trying to maybe put it together, find some time to put it together during the week, but that didn't happen. So I'm just going to go ahead and carry everything over from last week onto today's show. So today's show is going to be maybe a little longer than usual, just because I'm combining the two different sets of notes. But as I said at the beginning, thank you very much for listening. I do appreciate it. And again, I want to give a huge thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the podcast, who subscribed to the YouTube channel, who subscribed to the website. I really do. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the show. Thank you very much. Now, later on, I'm going to be talking to Adam and Richart, who are the ones putting together the upcoming CBD Expo. That's a little later, though. First, I want to give a huge shout-out to my wife, Star. She entered a local salsa contest. That is the condiment, not the dance. It was called the Best in the West, and it was held in downtown Ventura. She won first place. First place in a salsa contest. Not too bad for a white girl. Because my wife's white, but she can cook her ass off, man. And she was fearless about entering this salsa contest. So good on her. It was, it was pretty awesome. Something else I want to talk about a little later is that I found this bug that I couldn't identify, I couldn't recognize, crawling around the top of my soil a couple of weeks ago. And I posted the picture up on Instagram. And from the help with a lot of people that I respect out there, I think we figured out what it was. And I'm going to talk about that a little later also. But before all that, I want to mention that I am going to the CanMed event 2019 that's happening in Pasadena tomorrow, Monday. I'm super excited to be going. I want to thank 101 CBD for sponsoring me to go. The big reason why I'm so excited to go is because that Monday, the very first speaker is going to be Raphael Mechoulam. Yeah, Dr. Raphael Mechoulam, professor, I should say. Well, I think he's both, right? Professor and a doctor. He's got a PhD. Anyways, he's going to be there. And the title of his talk that he's going to give is called The Chemistry Behind Cannabinoid Acids, which means he's going to talk about THCA, CBDA, CBV, all of the acid forms of the cannabinoids. I'm really stoked to hear that. Another one that I'm going to stay for is the cannabinoid acid blocks intestinal inflammation and improves the therapeutic outcome of inflammatory bowel disease in mice models. So that'll be cool. It's going to be a great time for me. I'm going to totally geek out. They're also going to have a panel on cultivation. They're going to be talking about breeders' rights, cannabis IP or intellectual property, and blockchain, and how it all kind of comes together in the industry. So it's going to be a good time, man. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited to go. And once again, thank you to everybody over at 101 CBD. All right, now let's move on to the strain of the week. And today I'm going to give it up to the Blue Haze. The Blue Haze is a cross between the blueberry and the original haze. You know what? It's a great high for me. It's really euphoric, really uplifting. The blueberry doesn't come in too hard to where it's going to, slow me down and give me couch lock. It's kind of an even keel for me. It doesn't get me too hyped up. It doesn't get me too, stoned out and, I don't want to do anything. It doesn't zap my motivation. So I really enjoyed it. Now, the aroma, it's a little fruity, a little flowery, a little dirty, wet earth kind of, a little earthy, I guess you'd call it. It's all those things. It has an okay flavor. If it had a little bit of more fruitiness, I'd really enjoy it. Probably better, but it has an okay flavor. But all in all, the Blue Haze is a really good time. It's a nice, even balance for me. Pick it up if you see it out there. Another thing I want to mention about the strain of the week is, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and open it up to all of you. If you've got a strain that you want to review, something that, you picked up at a dispensary, not something that you made yourself and grew, because, I kind of want the strain of the week to be something that, if possible, we can all go out and pick it up or recognize it when we see it at a dispensary. And to do that, the phone number is 805-633-0639. And I will either play the review on the show or just read the review on the show. I'm not really sure how that's going to work because it is a Google phone number. I'm not sure if I have access to a recorded version of the message. So we'll find out. Don't forget, when you do leave a review, go ahead and leave your name or your handle, whatever you want me to call you, where you're calling from, what state, not like your hometown, but just what state. And if you want to give a shout out to, the dispensary that you picked it up at, you can do that too. So yeah, throw together a little strain of the week review. Come on, I'd love to hear from you. You've never sent me anything. At least not like this. All right, now moving on to the social media in my life. A couple of local things first of all. Happy Tree Art Class. Next Puff and Paint will be September 29th. That is next Sunday. And the featured artist is Alexa Gaddis. It's a really good time. If you're around in town in the 805, go over there. It's a lot of fun, I'm telling you. It's a great time. There will be live music there again this time. And it is going to be by an artist called Omega Nova. Now, smoke session starts at 4:20. The art class starts at 6. Please go over to Instagram to RSVP. That is at Happy Tree Art Class 805. You can go over there. They've got all the details. Diane and Cheyenne are more than happy to sign you up. It's very, very, very likely I'm going to be there. So come on out, man. It's going to be a good time, like I said. Also, once again, talking about the CBD Health and Wellness Expo coming up November 9th. If you want to go and you're in the 805 or you're going to be visiting, I have free VIP tickets for you. While they last, go ahead and reach out to me. I will get them to you. We will figure out a way to get them to you. And probably the quickest way to do that, or the easiest way to do that, is to find us on Instagram. That is at InMyGrow. And finally, for the social media, my buddy Seth Rogan made me aware of the fact that this week, September 21st through the 28th, is the National Expungement Week. Now, expungement just means that it's clearing or sealing the records of a person's prior arrest, criminal charges, or convictions. So go over to offtherecord.us to find out about all the events that are happening around the country for National Expungement Week. If you've got a low-level conviction or something really small on your record that's holding you back from, let's say getting even into the cannabis industry, get it expunged, man. Get it taken care of. This is a great time to do that, man. You've got a whole week. Go over to offtherecord.us. I'm sure they can help you figure out how to do that. Or, go over there and see how you can help somebody do that. Maybe you've got some kind of skills that'll help somebody get this stuff expunged. Because the low-level stuff, man, it is holding you back. It's keeping you from, maybe, going to school again. Or, get into the cannabis industry. Come on, man. It's a lot of fun in there. So check it out, offtherecord.us. All right, now let's do the report from the Cannabis Frontline. Now let's start off at the marijuana moment. There's an article over there that's titled "Overregulation Drives Illegal Marijuana Markets in Legal States, Study Suggests." And this was put together by Kimberly Lawson. It starts off, excessive state regulations may be the reason illegal marijuana markets continue to exist after legalization. A new exploratory study found after looking at data from the first 2 U.S. states to end cannabis prohibition. It says, published in July, the research is the master's thesis of Saikang Song, a graduate student of the Criminology and Criminal Justice Department at Portland State University. According to the study, the reason most people said they grew or sold marijuana illegally were strict regulations and the high cost associated with compliance. Other reasons for staying in the illegal marijuana market included high taxes, market fluctuations, and organized crime. So anyone who's in the industry kind of already knew this. And it's really funny that we needed a study to kind of validate that thinking, or at least that argument, because we've been saying that forever. That high cost of regulation, not so much that it's high regulation, but the cost of it keeps people from wanting to enter or even being able to enter a legal market. And since there is a high cost of regulation and a high cost of being in the regulated market, that cost is passed on to the consumers, which is reflected in the prices of a lot of the things that are in dispensary shelves. And it's a bit of a sticker shock to people when they go in there and see that they have to spend, $300 for the same amount of cannabis that they can get for probably a third on the black market. So I'm glad this went up. I'm glad somebody, kind of not so much did the research, but actually put the research out there for us to read, and we can have this discussion from there, because it's pretty obvious to anybody who's in the market that's one of the reasons why the black market is so strong and why it hasn't gone away, because lay people who aren't in the industry, are scratching their heads wondering sometimes, well, why does the black market still exist if we have all this legalization? It's not really that simple. At least it's not that simple. Also, clearly out here in California, it's not simple. There are a lot of things that really drive that black market. A couple of really obvious things, but, it's not one answer. So once again, there is a link in the show notes, and there will be links in the show notes for everything that I'm reading from the Cannabis Frontline. You can go over there and read for yourself. Let me know what you think. Next, I want to talk about this article a friend of mine turned me on to. Shout out to Slapshot Slim. Let's see. The article is titled "Cannabco to Launch Odorless Cannabis in Canadian Market." And this is at the Candid Chronicles, and this was put together by Benji Cooper. It says, Cannabco Pharmaceutical Corporation announced on Tuesday an agreement with an unspecified technology provider to launch an advanced cannabis technology for the production of near odorless cannabis. The new technology, dubbed Pure Can, was originally developed for the medical cannabis market and designed to eliminate the harshness from smoking without losing other properties. That's interesting, huh? Odorless? Well, is it really odorless? According to Cannabco, dry cannabis processed with Pure Can technology is less harsh, smokes smoother, and has virtually no odor when being stored or smoked. You see, that right there makes me wonder, okay, so what are they doing to the terpenes? It's got to be changing the flavor, right? I would think it would be. And it doesn't really say in the article what this technology is exactly, like how it works. Is it a drying process? Is it a way they grow it? Like, do they genetically modify the cannabis? Doesn't really say. I'm curious. I need more information about Pure Can. But, part of the love when you walk by and you smell that cannabis somebody else is smoking, you can kind of try to identify it. That's kind of the specialness of it. Why would they... I don't know, for people who want to be sneaky, who don't want to get busted, who knows? People who want to smoke in New York, because I guess I heard New York, they're going to try to ban actual smoking of cannabis. But we'll talk about that some other day when I actually have more details. Anyways, yeah, trip out. Odorless cannabis. Someone's coming up with it. The other thing I want to talk about is that the state of California has come out with its guidelines regarding advertising or promoting commercial cannabis. Now, they've got the usual, what you would expect they would have, things like you can't publish or disseminate, cannabis advertising from companies that aren't licensed. And you can't advertise within 1,000 feet of a daycare center, a school ground, a playground, a youth center. Those are the obvious ones, But there were a few on here that kind of threw me for a loop, like this one that says advertisements can be published or disseminated without obtaining reliable, up-to-date audience composition data demonstrating that at least 71.6% of the audience viewing the advertisement or promotion is reasonably expected to be 21 years of age or older. So in order to advertise any kind of cannabis product, I don't know if that means CBD also. We'll find out, I'm sure. But in order to advertise, you have to have like up-to-date information that your audience is at least almost 3/4 over the age of 21. That'll be interesting to see. How do you do that? Come on, 71%? That seems like a lot. I wonder what it is for alcohol. Is it the same? I don't know. If you know, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram @InMyGrow. Another one that kind of made me, scratch my head was you can't advertise free cannabis goods or give away any type of products. Now, why can't you advertise free weed? Once again, I go back to alcohol. Can you advertise free alcohol? But isn't that what happy hour is? Like buy one, get one free or something? But I think how does that work? But anyways, you can't advertise free weed. You can't advertise a giveaway. Everything, nope, can't do it. And the last one that made me... And the last one that I have to wonder about, because I'm wondering about all of these. Some of these make sense. Some of these, I don't know how they make sense. But this last one is advertisements cannot be located within 15-mile radius of the California border, on an interstate highway, or on a state highway that crosses the California border. Now, I'm assuming that's a bordering to other states, or is that also to the border of Mexico? I don't know. But why, though? Why can't it be right up against the border? Is that going to encourage people to come for the weed? Once again, I don't understand. If you know, please tell me. And those are just some of the regulations for advertising for cannabis. The last thing I want to talk about is this article that went up at Normal, that is normal.org. And the article is titled, Washington, D.C. Mayor signs order expanding workplace protection for cannabis consumers. It starts off, Mayor Muriel Bowser signed an order on Tuesday clarifying legal protections for certain district employees who consume cannabis while away from the job. The new rules apply to all district government agencies under the direct administrative authority of the mayor. Under the rules, many would-be employees will no longer face pre-employment drug screenings. Employees who are not in a safety-sensitive position will be tested for drugs only upon reasonable suspicion or after an accident or incident. Thus, those employees not in safety-sensitive positions may find that they can use cannabis with or without medical authorization, so long as they are not impaired at work. Goes on to say, in cases involving post-accident testing, a positive drug test result for cannabis metabolites will continue to be viewed as presumption evidence of impairment. However, this presumption may be overcome if the employee presents clear and convincing evidence that he or she was not impaired at the time of the test. Alright, so it looks like the mayor is saying that in D.C., any municipal employee that at least is under the mayor's office control, they're not going to be drug tested before they get a job. They're only going to be drug tested if they have an accident. And even then, if they can prove that they weren't impaired, because that's a big deal, right? Impairment and having, cannabinoids in your blood system. Those are two different things. So it's saying that if you can prove that you weren't impaired, that you weren't high on the job, then, you may be able to keep your job. It may just be an accident. Oh, here we go. Here's the important part. Because THC's primary metabolite, carboxy-THC, is a lipid soluble, meaning it's fat soluble. It hangs around in the fat cells. Residual levels of the compound may persist in urine for weeks or even months post-abstinence. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, a positive urine test screen for drug metabolites does not indicate abuse or addiction, recency, frequency, or amount of use or impairment. So there you go. Sounds like D.C. municipal employees have some protections. All right, that's awesome to hear. Good for D.C., good for the mayor. And that, everybody, is the report from the Cannabis Front Line. And now I want to move on to something we haven't done in a while, the Predator of the Week. And it is going to be the little assassin bug that I found in my garden a couple of weeks ago. Turns out that is the Phymatinae. Alright, let's go to my notes here about the Phymatinae. Okay, the name Phymatinae is derived from the Greek phymata, meaning swollen, which probably refers to the enlarged abdomen of these insects, or these bugs. Except the one that I had didn't look like it had, like, you know, an enlarged back end or tail end. But at the same time, you know what? The picture I took wasn't the best picture, because I put the bug down on my workbench, and I should have put it down on something white so I could get a better look at it, like, you know, get more detail out of it. Because my workbench just, you know, it's painted several times. And from the picture that I took, it looks like the bug has 4 legs, like 2 on each side, and then it has like crab claws. And I'd never seen an assassin bug like that. But like I said, I put it out to the community on Instagram, and a lot of people whose opinions I respect came back and suggested that yes, it is an assassin bug. It is the Phymatinae. Alright, but let's continue with the notes. Now the Phymatinae are considered true bugs, which means they have a piercing, sucking mouthpiece. They pierce plants or other bugs with their long tube-like mouth called the proboscis, I believe, or a beak. And they do this because they cannot chew. True bugs pump saliva through their mouth to partly digest their food, and then they suck it in. Yep, like a straw. There are over 200 known species of these bugs. Now, the Phymatinae are from a group of bugs that are known as assassin bugs, and they're commonly called ambush bugs. Now, most members of this family have like, what are they called? Raptorial forelegs, where, you know, just think about like the legs, the kind of front legs that a praying mantis has. Very similar to those. And their antennas are usually clubbed, meaning they've got a little nub at the end. And they are called ambush bugs because they will like wait for their prey to come by. You know, they'll like be really still and pretend like they're part of the plant itself. And then as they come by, they'll grab them with those little raptorial forearms. And on the back side of those arms, they're going to have little like needle or teeth pincers that are going to help grab them. They're going to poke them with that straw mouth that they have, inject those enzymes, start to liquefy them a little bit, and then just slurp them back up. And it isn't uncommon to see these kind of ambush bugs like kill and eat things that are a lot bigger than them. You know, because all they have to do is grab a hold of them and, you know, kind of sedate them with that saliva and then inject them. And that bigger prey just becomes lunch. You know, they'll catch things like bumblebees or wasps, even butterflies. Now, when I was looking up like ambush bugs and the Phymatinae specifically, I didn't find a whole lot of information, because I guess it's not until very recently that people started to look at them as like a positive natural predator. For whatever reason, they were just always overlooked for all this time. So there's still a lot of people doing a lot of research on these ambush bugs. And, you know, since there are over 200 species around the world, there's something like, I think, 280 or something like that, maybe over that. You know, there's still a lot of work to be done. But these are just a couple of quick notes about the ambush bug, about the Phymatinae. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. So there you go. If you see them, don't kill them. They're doing you a favor. Keep them in your garden. Okay, next, I'm going to play a conversation that I had with Adam and Richart, who are the guys that are putting on the CBD Health and Wellness Expo that's happening in November out here. Now, I invited them to come on the show, not so much to talk to me about CBD, but I wanted to find out what it took to put on an event like this, especially locally here, because a lot of municipalities around here are really uptight about anything related to cannabis or CBD. There's just a lot of confusion about it. And I was just really surprised that they got the fairgrounds to actually allow them to have this event. So I just wanted to pick their brain about what it took or what it's taking to actually put this on. And it was awesome to talk to those guys because they shared with me their thoughts about marketing and branding. So it was a really great conversation for me to have, and it was awesome to hang out with them even afterwards. You know, they're really bunch of smart guys. So hang tight. I'm going to play a little bit of music, and then I'm going to put that conversation on for you. Well, mi gente, my people, today with me, I have Adam and Richard, who are the driving forces behind the CBD Health and Wellness Expo 2019 that's happening at the Ventura Fairgrounds on November 9th in Ventura, California. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. I appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Pleasure's mine.
So before we get into our conversation, do me a favor, introduce yourselves a little better than what I just did, just so everybody gets a sense of who's who. Adam, we'll start with you.
Well, my name is Adam Casillas, co-owner of the Latino Business Expo and the CBD Health and Wellness Expo. Me and my partner also have ownership of American Latino Magazine. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so something that, we stay busy here in Ventura County and abroad. We do other things.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm Richart Ramos. I'm Adam's partner. And again, we're co-founders of all these events and other events. It's not just here in Ventura County. We've done them in San Diego. I do events actually all over the world on other topics. But our background is really helping businesses kind of to bring an audience to small businesses. Because, we've owned small businesses. You know how hard it is to get someone to come into the door. It's very expensive to do advertising and things like that. So, that's when we started this whole idea of putting on events where you can bring people in at a low cost and put them in front of a massive audience, because that's what you need. You're not going to get rich or sustain your business if you only got one or two customers a day coming through the door.
True. So the obvious question is, have either one of you taken CBD before?
I take it every day.
Do you really?
Oh, yes. 2 different types.
For what?
I take one for sleep and the other one for a heel spur type tendonitis pain in my left foot. So that's more of a paste. It's a Sana Gente brand. It's it's thicker. You rub it in, work it in, and I get some relief from the pain in my foot. But my biggest claim to fame for CBD is, I've suffered from issues with sleep my whole life. Insomnia, ADD, you call it. I don't sleep well. When I lay down to go to bed, most people go to sleep. That's when I start thinking. And I'll lay there and I'll plan out my life for the next 10 years before I fall asleep, if I'm lucky. And if I get woke up, I start working on the next 10 years after that. So I was introduced to a product from a gentleman, his name is J.R. Trevino. The product was, it's called Live CBDs. It's 0 THC, just CBD. And I take 2,000 milligrams once a night and a full dropper. I think it's 2,000 milligrams. It's a full dropper.
Sure.
And I sleep until my alarm goes off now. And I fall asleep within 20 minutes of laying down in bed. So for me, that's enough for me to be on it for the rest of my life, because sleep deprivation kills people. You fall asleep on the road, you don't work right, you wake up shitty and crabby. And
it's a big deal to get a good night's sleep, man.
Yeah, it is, especially now that I'm getting older.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's AGE acts up, and for me, that's why I take CBD, is also to get, because I don't have a lot of aches and pains. I don't have, I'm relatively active. I don't have a lot of aches and pains, but I do struggle to stay asleep.
Yeah.
Because if I wake up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, forget it. Fuck it, I'm awake. Yeah. I might as well get up and make coffee.
Right.
It's the worst, man. So, and CBD just lets me, like you said, it lets me just fall all the way completely asleep, and it's a more restful sleep too.
Yep. Very rarely do I sleep 8 or 9 hours, but if left alone.
Sure.
But if I set my alarm for 7 o'clock and I lay down by 11, I fall asleep before 11:30, and I wake up with my alarm clock, man, I feel like a champion. I feel great.
Yeah. So there's, like you said, there's everybody needs a good night's sleep. Richard, what about you? You take any?
I've taken it, but I don't take it. I don't take it on a regular basis. I don't have really any aches and pains.
Any
or
need for
like
it? Sure. Yeah. No, I get that too.
But I do promote it to a lot of people, though, because because of the networking. You hear the testimonials, and these aren't. Again, it's that whole stigma. Is it, is there any weed in it or THC? Oh, yeah. But I mean, we deal with professionals. We deal with people that don't smoke marijuana. They're just looking for some kind of relief. And when you start hearing the masses, telling you that, hey, I tried this, a friend gave it to me, and it worked. I mean, I got some for my dog, or you gave me one.
Yep. Oh, that's right.
For the joint. And
I got my dog on him. My dog's on CBD.
I've got my dog on CBD also. Yeah, he's got a skin issue.
Well, I got a
So,
chocolate lab, and he's got an anxiety issue, and he's 9 years old, and he hasn't grown up yet. So, I got some Botanical Gardens veterinarian products from a vendor that's going to be at the CBD. And I like to support my vendors. I try to do business with my vendors as much as I can. So I had my dogs on it for about 2 weeks, and I've noticed less craziness out of my lab towards the end of the night. He starts calming down.
Right.
So I got him also on the joint relief one because he's an older guy. But yeah, I've noticed a little difference in him also, and it's hard. He's a big boy, so.
Yeah, I've talked to a vet, and she says it does wonders for like joint pain, all the inflammation.
With inflammation.
Yeah, it's the inflammation.
Cellular inflammation.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
that's probably why he's sleeping.
Because anybody knows anything about antioxidants or inflammation, it's always starting at a cellular level. So anything that helps better circulation helps you sleep better. Helps you relax, and also relief of pain, because you get better circulation to those joints. Everybody thinks that inflammation is in the meat. It's actually in the blood.
Okay.
And when you work on those cells, that they shrink, they get through the place. It's like trying to get through a tunnel. Your veins. Sure. So I'm constantly pulled aside by people in the professional world, in the arena that I'm running around in regularly. I'm at different events all day long, everywhere. And people will whisper to me about CBD like it's
it's illicit.
Where do you get your CBD from? I'm like, what?
It's like weed. What are you talking about?
I go, they sell some products at Vaughn's now with CBD. So, I'm like, I was like, okay, this is not illegal, right? It's not. Yeah, I go, pot's not even illegal. I go, but I can, what do you need? So I give them, I hook them up with referrals and send them to my vendors and stuff like that. But it's just the misconception about the legality of the product and educating people about it and letting them understand. Yeah, there are products that are CBD that are THC, fortified with higher levels of THC versus CBD, but those are not called CBD, or they are called CBD treatments, but they're not sold on the market like that. You have to go to a dispensary for those. So, if I'm correct,
to me, 50-50. And no, it is, and you're right. They are sold, but I think that's where the confusion lies for a lot of people.
Yeah,
is because the first time a lot of people encounter it is when someone's either talking about it in the reference point of a dispensary, or they've gone into a dispensary trying to look for a product that helps them, but since it has that higher amount of THC in it, a lot of people just aren't used to it, and they wind up getting high because it has more THC in it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that, because I have people also ask me, well, what do I don't want to take it because I don't want to get high. I was like, well, there are differences.
Yeah. Well, my wife likes the Barkley cream.
Okay, yeah.
CBD cream. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's 1 part to 3 parts, or 1 part
3 to
THC,
1.
3 to 1. And that doesn't get you high. That's not going to, and that's only sold.
It's a misconception. People think it's like weed.
That's only sold in the dispensaries. We can't get that over the counter.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, they need to figure it out to where everybody has access to all the levels of it, to where it doesn't get you high,
Yeah, it is an information thing, Richard, like you were saying, because I always question when I go into like CVS and you see the displays for the CBD, but there's no education behind it except for this little pamphlet that's there. The pharmacist more than likely is going to tell you, go ask your doctor.
Yeah.
Your doctor, they didn't teach this in medical school. More than likely when he was in medical school, so he's either scratching his head about it or he's like, stay away from it because he doesn't understand it. So, yeah, it's hard to get the education through to a lot of people, especially older people, because it seems like the only place they think about to get that information is from a younger generation. And as an older person, how are you going to ask your nephew or your niece, hey, can you explain this that's kind of like cannabis? I mean, it's...
And again, that's part of the reason of doing the show. I mean, we do a lot of different types of shows. And when I was talking to Adam, months back, I said, we need to do the first CBD and expo, but tie it into like a wellness expo, because the thing is that there's a ton of spas, chiropractors, and whatnot, massage therapists. They're already recommending the products, right? But again, people don't know, and so by having an event and doing it right, it took a while to get approved, by the fairgrounds to do this. I mean, we could have done this anywhere, but we wanted to do it at the fairgrounds. And they're very worried about that it doesn't turn into like a weed fest or like in places,
Well, sure.
because it's tied to they see it's still tied to marijuana, right? And so by making it a health and wellness expo, now we can get, average people, older people coming in. I mean, we come from a heavy martial arts background. His sister's a world champion. My cousins own the Flores Brothers Karate Studio, so they've been the longest running karate studio here in the county. And so we've always been around kind of that industry. Mm-hmm. And I can almost guarantee that even those karate studios, some of them are probably already, the instructors are using it because they're getting banged up or whatever. So by us doing the first one, we can do it right. So we can set the standard because we want to because our standards are pretty high, and they're worried about that too. That and we're worried about that someone's going to come in, they're going to do a crappy job because they think they can make money at it. You don't make a ton of money at expos unless you get. I mean, you need a lot. I mean, we draw 4,000 people, to our events, and we don't always make a huge profit there because we help out a lot of small businesses that are struggling. But by bringing that education to there, it's going to make a big difference. And I think it's going to open up people's eyes to, wow, this is not just, products you go buy at a dispensary. Because like I said, they have them at these CVS stores. But the problem is with those products, a lot of them are watered down because they're trying to make as much money as possible.
Yeah, they're highly diluted for sure.
They're highly diluted. And there's very few companies out there, and there's more coming through the system that have legit products. So, Adam and I were working on one of our title sponsors. They're based out of Las Vegas, a company called Be Well, and that Be Well is a product line, but it's a brothers that own 15 pharmaceuticals, pharmacies and stuff like that. So they're doing everything from the beginning with FDA approved labs. They got independent labs that are certifying their products and so forth. A lot of stuff I'm telling you that you get out there right now. That's the big thing that's in the news. How do you know what you're really getting?
I've had the vendors that are calling me, asking me about my other vendors, and asking if I've done my research. I said no. I said I'm not.
It's like they want us to cut them out, right?
I'm explaining to them that me and my partner Richard, we're not in the CBD business. Okay, we're in the expo business. We're in the branding, marketing, promotional business. We bring people together. We connect the dots. We organize the best events in the Tri-Counties, from San Diego to Santa Maria. Nobody touches our events. So what we decided is use our transferable skills that people call in this and jump on board with the CBD wave and get approved by one of the hardest places to put an event on with our reputation of our professionalism, the way we carry ourselves. And it wasn't easy to get this approved. One of my discussions was, you have a gun show here. With CBD health and wellness,
that's a really good point because you guys are kind of brave because, like you were saying, there is a lot of stigma still tied to cannabis because it is so misunderstood, and then the fact that the fairgrounds allow you to do this.
And see, that's a state-owned property, right? Right. And what's interesting is that they kind of already told us, they want us to do it right because they know that coming right behind this within a couple of years, it's going to be a marijuana show.
Sure.
And they want to make sure that whoever's doing it,
let's hope so,
already has that background of doing those shows. And they did it the right way, and it wasn't like
they usually have to have several meetings with their vendors. They don't meet with me at all. They already know. We got the diagram of our room. I meet once or twice to sign a contract. If we switch the room, we need to go over it with the guy. That's it. But there's no, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. They know that I know how they work. My background was food and beverage and events for 25 years working for Starwood Properties. So I understand there's rules, there's things to follow, there's guidelines. We pass that on down to our vendors. We have zero tolerance. We're going to run a professional event. People can't take advantage of us. Nobody's going to get better positioning just because they're who they are. It's first come, first serve. People pay, they get their spot. We promote them all the time. All we ask is that they pay on time, and we promote the hell out of everybody. I mean, there's not too many events that will put every vendor and everybody on every piece of marketing material because most events, they try to nickel and dime you. You need power, another $50. You need ice, you need another $20. You need, you want to be on the poster, that's another $100. No, our price is one price, and everything's included. at all our expos. We haven't changed the price on our Latino Business Expo in 12 years. We're on our 23rd, and we've left at the same price all that time.
Wow.
Because we're not gold diggers. We don't take advantage of people. We're really, really strong in the pay it forward and try to help out the mom and pop's business. That's why we've been pushing this event really hard here in Ventura County first before we open it up. I mean, we got events in LA. We went to the World CBD Expo. We got lots of contacts, and we got more contacts than we need, but we're really trying to focus on one of the things we've built here is Ventura County businesses, and there's a lot of businesses here in Ventura County that are into the CBD and health and wellness. I've got doctors, I got medical, I got chiropractic, I got mental health, 2 different mental health. I mean, it's going to be a legitimate health and wellness. It's not no smoke screen. It's not a camouflage that I'm going to have one medical person there and 90 CBD vendors. It's not like that. Right now, we already got about 5 or 6 medical facilities committed to the event to do health. From, like I said, mental health to chiropractic.
So, what kind of education are you guys hoping to get for the public out of this?
Well, we got 3 speakers lined up so far. The farm part, the living clean with it. I made it a point to offer the presentations for free if it's a generic presentation about product only, about the A, B's, and C's of CBD.
Okay. Sure.
So if they want to discuss their product, their personal product, they're gonna have to pay to do the presentation. Sure. So that's what the booth is for. One of the things that we're really good at, and one of the things that I force people to do, and some people, they don't show up, but I make all the vendors come to events. They don't just get the expo. Okay. Right now, if you're participating in the CBD Expo, there's 4, 5, 6, 7 other events before it where you can come and share your business and network. If you're in the CBD business, you're self-employed, basically. Most of the people I know.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're not networking, you're not working. Those people need to learn that it's the same as any other business, that you're self-employed. If your business's success depends on you meeting new people, making contacts, and finding new clients, then you're crazy not to follow me and get involved with what we do. Because I'm going to an event right after this podcast, tequila tasting at the Blue Agave restaurant in Ventura. I'm networking there. Sure. You see what I'm wearing? It's got every event that I'm involved with right now on me, because I work expos 40 hours a week. I don't do this as a part-time job. I don't sit here and just like some people put events on, work on it 2 hours a day. I've been going since 7:30 this morning. I refreshed with the shower just for your interview.
And I can tell.
I brushed my hair, my teeth, groomed up, cleaned up, shaved, and everything just to sit here. But I'm just saying, we're unique because we're expo 40, 50 hours a week working on our events. I need something. You see what my partner has here in his office. Well, he's Richard, anything I need.
We are our own media company. We're not a media company.
Yeah. Good on you.
But on that topic, though, like we were saying about networking, one of the things that's really unique here about Ventura County, the reason we can drive a lot of people to our events versus in LA takes a lot more work. It's what he's talking about. We create other small events where there's no charge to come in. We get our other vendors to participate, like the restaurants. They'll put out hors d'oeuvres because we're going to bring 50, 60 people on Taco Tuesday when nobody's there. Right?
Oh, you were there at the last one.
And that was a small one. I mean, we've had over 100 at some of them.
Tomorrow night, we're having a big one. It's in Camarillo. Tomorrow's Tuesday, September 17th. Ruby's Fresh Mexican Food and Tequila Bar, of course. You see where I'm going with this tequila thing.
It's quite the theme. I like it.
It's part of my other medical sleep aids.
But what I was talking about, what I want to wrap up on this topic is that we can do things here in Ventura County. It's a lot easier than for us to do in LA County, because here everybody, especially from the bottom of the hill, everybody somehow knows everybody somewhere. That you can go to a networking event. If you go out there and you network, you're going to meet a lot of people that are there trying to network to increase their business. You go to LA, you go to a networking event, you never see the same people, because it's like, which one do you go to? Like if you're in Glendale, do I go to Burbank? Do I go to
there's no chance to build relations.
You can't build those relationships because everybody's it's a lot more cutthroat. And that's actually one of the reasons we even got involved in the expo business, because when we had our real estate business. We still do, but it's mainly just by referral. We were networking, right? And we kept getting invited to some events, and finally what drew the line was that we went to an event. It was a Hispanic. I can talk about it because they're out of business, thank God. It was a Gold Coast Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They kept asking us, "Come on, you guys got to come over. You guys are Hispanic." And we invited the Mayor Fillmore and some other people. Hey, let's go support this local group. And all these groups, man, we'd go and it's like, oh, it's $25 for what? For egg beaters. Like, I get it, they're trying to raise money for the group, right? But then we got someone at the front telling you, oh, today nobody's going to talk about business because we got all this other stuff we're going to talk about, how we're going to go lobby and
yeah. They said if you're here, I'll never forget it.
It was embarrassing, man. I mean,
can you cuss on this radio show?
Yeah,
okay.
Fuck yeah.
So as I'm sitting here and the person comes up and says, if you're here just to make business and to make connections, you're here for the wrong reason. I look at my partner. She goes, we're lobbyists. We're going to Washington. We're going to that. And I look at my phone. Richard says, it's time let's get the fuck out of here. So we got up and left. And they said, you're leaving? I said, yeah, well, we're here for business. We're here to build business. I understand that all that shit in Washington needs to be dealt with. But
that's not you guys.
This was, remember when, let me take you back. This was 2007. Right, when the market had just taken a shit. Everybody was struggling.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was telling us you're crazy for doing an expo. I'm going to tell you, we had 70 vendors. We did it at the 4 Points by Sheraton in Ventura on Schooner Drive. They have over there off of Harvard Boulevard where they have that overflow parking where they park for the fairgrounds. Well, we filled up that parking lot. We filled up the hotel parking lot, and we filled up across the street the next hotel parking lot. So that was our very first expo. That's where it was born. And we did it when everybody told us we couldn't do it. And we did it on our own.
People want to do business. I mean, it's like, yes, those other things are important, but at the end of the day, we're trying to get people in the door so we can pay our bills. And I see all these small businesses. I mean, I own small businesses. I know how hard it is to go out there when you're a one-man shop. Should I go network or should I stay here and crank out some more work? You have to go out there because if you spend too much, you got to work on the business, not in the business. If you're an owner,
a lot of people do that. The business works them, and they don't work the business, and that's.
But all the other chambers at the time, I think they saw us kind of as a threat because it was kind of like we were getting really bad vibes from them. It was like, to me, it was like, why the fuck are we doing your job? Why do think about it? Someone gets and granted, they participate at our event. They have a function, but you got to look at. But we consult with them. We tell them, look. You're asking someone for $300 a year. They're going to get a plaque on the wall that says XYZ Chamber of Commerce. What do I get for that? You don't even get a ribbon cutting. You have to pay for that, or they only do so many of those. So what are you doing for that? People that walk in through the door, they don't give a shit about that. So now they're getting a little bit braver now. They're starting to do more stuff. I mean, the Camarillo one now has the
Latinos in Business Council. We're actually members of the Camarillo Chamber.
So they're starting to realize, I mean, they've come to us and say, can you guys do our expo? I'm like, what? You're getting paid like $60, $80 a year. That's your job, And it's like they're asking us to do their job. To me, that pissed me off, man, because it was like I went through this period where I told them, I don't care, man. We're just going to go and hammer it out, and it paid off. And now, they show up to our events. They realize that, hey, man, these guys are putting together an event where now we can solicit people and say, look, this is what we can help you with. And
our event has our personality on it. Anybody who knows us knows that we are pro-commerce. In other words, understand when people say they're part of a commerce, chamber of commerce, we are commerce. We treat everybody evenly. Anybody's welcome to come to our event. We don't pick and choose. We don't say there's only one allowed. I don't care. There's no exclusivity at my events. If I have 10 banks there, I have 10 banks. I strategically place them away from each other. They're always there. They love it. We put together the best events. We have a 75% to 80% retention from one expo to the next. I have vendors.
Sometimes they skip, right?
Yep. No, but I got vendors. I got vendors. The Clinicas and Susie and Alquimia. I have vendors that have been at every single expo, and we're on 23. We actually have vendors that have participated. That's our 23rd Latino Business Expo. So that's why we've rolled it into the CBD Health and Wellness.
So let me ask you something. On keeping on that same lane of Latino business. Do you see a lot of Latinos in the CBD industry? I mean, I know you guys traveled around a bit.
I travel more than he does because I co-founded a company called Global Shopping Rewards. So what we do is we help small businesses promote their products online.
Okay.
and then we sell through like an affiliate / like network marketing type model, or if they refer people, they get commissions.
Got it.
And I've taken that all over the world. I mean, we had, you know, for example, like in some countries, for example, like Asia, we went into Korea, right? And in Korea, within about 60 days of us showing them how we do our networking, how we do little mini expos, they went to over $1 million in sales a month.
Wow.
Within 60 days. And, you know, so our model works everywhere. It just, you know, in certain areas you see more Latinos, other areas you see more Anglos. Like right now, I'm working with these people in Vegas, and they're all Chinese, you know. So they understand commerce. Here, and also in the CBD industry, I do see a lot of Latinos, mainly because I travel a lot within these different groups that I help. And it is very big within the Latino community, but a lot of them are doing sales like network marketing. But in California, we do have, or I have clients that they have farms. The people I'm partnering with this Be Wealth for a corporate sponsorship, they have farms up in Oregon. And there are a lot of Latinos that are getting more involved in that. And but in Ventura, I see it a lot because, I mean, the big chunk of the population is Latino. So,
right.
You know, it's like in real estate. When I first started in real estate, I mean, there weren't that many brokers that were Latino. I was like one of the only ones, but they didn't know I was a broker because I was doing marketing for them. And as soon as I decided to jump more in and start doing real estate, it's kind of funny. I lost some of those clients because I was like, he's stealing our secrets, right? Well, what do you mean? I created your secrets. How can I steal them, right? And over the years now, you see with in the real estate industry, there's so many more in Ventura County. The majority is Latino realtors, you know? And so the same thing's going to happen here. And again, that's why we had to be the first ones to do it, because we have they trust us a lot at the fairgrounds, and they want, you know, someone was already asking them to do one. But then when they heard our name, it was like, well, we trust these guys. We know what they do. And they don't have to babysit us. So it's important to do that so we can, as we get the people in, we can educate them.
And, you know, one of the things I like is that every vendor that I've spoken to that is in the health and wellness CBD Expo they already know the rules. They already know that, even though I put it in the email, they know that that's guidelines. You know, the 0.03 amount of THC is the maximum, or zero. If there's any, it can't be any higher than 0.03.
Right, it's got to be.
And they all knew that. And they all, you know, it's to me, they want to succeed also. So I want to surround myself with people who are in the direct, you know, in the positive flow of doing things right and getting it done. I mean,
Pretty much what you're saying about like the competition, the exclusivity.
Oh yeah.
With exclusivity, the reason we don't make it exclusive is because we want people, at the same time that this whole pay it forward thing that we do, is that's the reason we create those small events along the way. If someone's worried about their competition, we want them to step up their game, because there's plenty of business for everybody. There's business out there, man. I mean, you don't, people that think, there's no business. Bullshit.
They got to look at it as a beer brand. There's 2,000 of them out there.
That's what I run into a lot. Not just in the CBD, but in the cannabis industry, there's a lot of people in the industry that have this famine mentality. And there isn't enough for everybody.
Yeah.
And everything's, I'm against you, you're against me, and, you know, there's a finite amount of everything, and, you know, they got to get their chunk. And it's like, it's not like that, man. There's so much fucking business out there.
It's about marketing.
You know,
I learned that lesson on my very first expo. And again, I'm going to go back to tequila. I have a tequila vendor signed up, and I was trying to keep it exclusive. That's one of the things that was, we kept the first one exclusive except for tequila. I talked to the tequila guy, and I go, hey, I have another tequila that wants to, he goes, good. He goes, put them near me. And I go, what? He goes, so that they can taste the difference between our tequilas. Okay.
That's the motherfucker's not afraid, right?
Exactly. There. So that's the way people should feel about their product. You should do. Here's one thing that I've found. I've asked questions. I've learned a lot about CBD. So when people talk to me about it that are selling it, I ask them questions and they can't answer them. Okay, for me, it's not their fault. It's whoever got them involved with the business. They need to do their homework. One of the things with me that if I were to get in the CBD business, I would spend hours and hours, because I don't want to be that person being asked a question and not being able to answer it.
Looking up in the air for an
That's
answer,
not me.
like,
And so I would do my due diligence. That's what I recommend. If somebody's going to get into that business, do your homework. Learn the financial possibilities with it. Learn the medical benefits. Learn why it does these certain things. Figure out, why am I sleeping? That's 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when we came across a product called Monavi. I started drinking it, and I was sleeping like a baby. And I said, well, why is that? Well, we got into that business. We built a team of almost 1,000 people in 9 months or 8 months, me and my partner Richard. But that's when I learned about all the inflammation at cellular level, where it starts. Gotcha. So it was a higher antioxidant, created better blood flow. So, but I learned everything there was. I read up on it every day. I was learning and educating myself. So that's what I recommend for a lot of people that are going to jump in this business. Do your homework. Don't just send. I had one guy just go to my website. No, that's not. I don't want to. Number one, I have ADD. I have ADD, brother. I don't focus on shit very well. I really do. That's the reason why I can work on 10 different things at the same time. Oh, I have functional ADD, so I don't like reading shit. Somebody sent me a spreadsheet and asked me if I can volunteer. I go, I don't do well with all this numbers and all this bullshit. When do you need me? That's the way. That's one of the reasons that we're functional. Richard will read.
Oh, I can see that just by the setup here. Richard's a numbers guy.
Yeah, we're the yin and yang here. It's like the perfect marriage.
But here's the thing. Going back to exclusivity, right? We create these events because, like you said, that people think that there's lack of abundance.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
Paranoia.
Everything is out there because everybody, you're going to run into competition everywhere, okay? I'll use an example. We'll go even fucking deeper than this. Tomatoes.
Okay. I love tomatoes.
You get them everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, did you not go fucking door to door as a kid selling tomatoes?
Hustled them door to door.
Selling tomatoes. Why? Because he just went out there and did it.
It was what people wanted. 10 cents a piece, 3 for a quarter. I did it in the 70s. That's how I ate good.
See? But and the thing is, look, you can get tomatoes anywhere, and anybody can grow them.
Well, we're still selling go out here and to one of our fields and grab some. Nobody's going to say anything,
one of the things that's going full circle here, and I'm seeing it every day. We had somebody present on the 4 Ps, I guess, promotion, product, pricing, and people. 4 Ps. He did a presentation this morning on that. So, for us, for me, I see it because I'm out there every day.
5 Ps.
It's going, yeah.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Exactly. Yeah. So I see it every day. It's going full circle to where it's not just internet marketing. People are still going, well, hey, I like to put a face to who I'm doing business. See, I do business myself with personalities, not products. I don't give a shit about the products because if I don't like you, I'm not working with you. Somebody comes up to me and I spend 20 minutes with them. They like me. My personality sells my events. I'm a salesman. I'm a customer service guy. I deliver. I don't lie. There's no reason to tell lies. You can't remember that shit. You got to tell the truth all the time. So I'd rather tell them the truth, whether it pisses them off, whether I lose them as a client, than sit there and lie to them and then not deliver. I'm not going to do that. That's our MO. We tell you the truth up front. If you want to be part of this is what it's going to cost. This is what you're going to get. This is how it's going to go. And then we do business. My events speak for themselves. People can talk to us about marketing and promoting all day long. Richard used to own a company called Panda Graphics, and then we had Expo Marketing. So we have been in marketing and branding our whole lives, basically.
Well, on the internet side
and
too.
He's been ahead of the game on the internet.
Launched one of the first internet companies in the world called Golden Wave. I still own it, but we sold off the internet company. I turned it more into a digital media company. So we've been there from the beginning. But it's like what you're saying about social media. Here, because everybody kind of knows it's a smaller community, you need to blend social media with going out there and networking. And that's the problem, is that most people think
it's like one or the other.
It's like in the beginning days of the internet. Yeah, we could put up a web page and someone would probably find you because there wasn't that many web pages. But now, I mean, everybody's blogging. That's all these cameras you see here is because I'm recording videos for YouTube. So I'm branding some channels on YouTube.
What are we making?
Huh? We'll let you guys know. We're uploading everything. There's a strategy on how we do the launch for it. But it's all just business related. It's just showing people how to how to market on YouTube, on social media.
Oh, wow.
And also, stuff like this, so, and that, the audio from that is being, I'm taking from there and I'm rebroadcasting it to podcasts.
Right on
iTunes and the Google Play Store. So I'm covering I'm not just doing one thing. I'm already recording the video. We might as well take the audio. But the thing is that with marketing is that you can 10x your business really quick if you incorporate the networking. And most people want to take the lazy way out. They go, I can build a web page, or I can shoot 1 or 2 little videos here and there. You know what?
I can just do it on Instagram all the time.
Yeah. Well, you can, but it's going to take you 2 years.
Wow.
Okay, but if you want to make money now, you go to the expo. So when we tell that, so we educate people a lot. We do a lot of free trainings and classes for those that want it. And but the what I was getting at with like it goes back to the pricing. We bring so much value that even the cost of yes, the CBD Expo is a lot more expensive because it's an all-day event at the fairgrounds. It's on a Saturday. It's their most expensive pricing.
And their favorite room, their number one room. Then
we went to the World CBD Expo. They did a good job. But the thing is,
we get more people at our mixers than they had in that room.
Had it there.
What were they lacking? If you guys don't mind,
foot traffic,
everything. Foot
traffic.
What it is that they had too much staff in the front collecting the money. We don't make any money at the gate. We sell tickets, but we also give away 4,000 tickets.
We give away 4,000 free tickets. If you show up to our event without a ticket, it's $10 at the door.
Our allegiance is to the vendor. Our job is to drive the traffic. If we have 4,000 people there, next time they sign up. Because
we're happy.
It's a no-brainer. So and everybody wants to be part of it. The radio wants to be part of it because they know we're going to drive a lot of people. But over there, you're walking around the event. You don't know who. There's no staff. We're the staff. If you had to ask a question about something, it was just they did it strictly it's just for the money.
Each booth had 4 to 5 vendors in it, and that was most of the crowd. And
most of the crowd was the vendors.
Was vendors going to and from. There wasn't that many people there. Now I have in mind that was I believe a 2-day event. 3-day event. So maybe people were planning on coming and going and doing certain things.
But here's the thing. Okay, you want to go to the event, so you show up on it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they had a little tiny area, they didn't have a separate room. It was in the same. They built like a little stage. It was cool. Okay, great. I paid $25. Oh, this guy's speaking tomorrow. Fuck, I got to pay another $25 to come tomorrow.
What?
You got to pay again for each time you come in.
Oh no!
Or it was
$150.
It was more the next day.
It was $50. I think it was $50 a ticket.
Yeah.
And they're charging twice as much as we're charging at the door and for the booth space. Now, I've done events at the Pasadena Convention Center, so I know it's expensive there, but it's not that expensive. And they should have focused more on driving people. So, like I said, it's kind of hard. I think they wanted to use the World CBD Expo, and
I'll tell you one thing. They had 20 employees out there. Well, when we run our expo, we do the door with 4 of us. That's how good we are.
We have paid security for the fairgrounds, right?
Yeah.
But our staff, we can run an entire event because here's the thing. If you did your job right, and you school people along the way, you're training them at the mixers that they already know what to expect. You don't need a lot of people there. Over there, it seems like they had like 8 or 9 people behind one cashier, another cashier with another 8 or 9 people, and a couple of people at the door. They weren't even looking at your tags, so somebody could have just walked in. So, I'm not knocking them. At least they're doing something, But the thing is that we have to set the standard.
So it seems like you guys hold the mixers mostly to help the vendors kind of get the groove of it.
My goal with the mixers is to get them to show up, to start doing business with each other before the event. If I was a vendor and I was going to an expo and that expo had 4 mixers leading up to the actual expo, and it was where all the vendors gathered and new future vendors, and they're giving out swag and it's a fun event, I'd beat every single one of them. Every single one of them. Because in my business, if I make one good contact a day at each mixer, my goal is to meet somebody new every single day, and I do. Okay. Now, if I can go to a mixer, I don't care if it's 3 people and stale chips. I'm going to do the best. I'm going to make the best out of it. Because for me, a mixer is all about making new contacts. And I don't care where I'm at. I was a bartender for 25 years, so I can talk anywhere. I'm not scared. I'm not shy. I'll start a conversation with a 95-year-old lady in the grocery store. That's my personality. So for me, the mixers are where the vendors can start doing business now. So what happens if you go to these mixers and you go through and you start doing business with, say, 4 or 5 different vendors? By the time the expo comes, we give these people time to have vendor time. Okay, now you already know these vendors. That leaves you free time to go meet some of the vendors you haven't met. So it's there's always a method to our madness.
And here's the thing: in business, are you familiar with the term LTV? Not loan. It's not loan to value. That's in real estate. In marketing, we have LTV. It's a long-term value. Okay. You want to find out what the value of that customer is. So if I'm doing some internet marketing campaign, I'm selling some product. I know that after a certain amount of time, I'll be able to determine how much that customer is worth to me. In lifetime. I'll be able to sell this and maybe 3 or 4 other things, depending on the product. With our events, I haven't been able to determine that because we got a 75%, 85% retention. So that lifetime value to us might end up being $50,000 because they're going to be at every, like Clinicas. They're just one of them. I mean,
they're involved with everything we do.
And then they show up and they give samples.
Hey, so speaking of Clinicas, are they going to be at the CBD Expo?
No, because they're federally funded.
Oh, gotcha.
Trust me. He called me and let me know, hey, as a matter of fact, the CEO of Clinicas, Roberto Juarez, is a very good friend of mine. Today he received one of the highest medals from the Mexican consulate.
That would have been interesting to see, man. But, yeah, no, I get that, man.
But I am working on some others,
But that's going to change over time, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if we're the first ones there doing this event, as soon as that gets out of the way, guess who's going to be the first one there?
Hey, so... I mean, I know you guys advertise heavily on the radio for the Latino Expo. What are the caveats or what are the roadblocks for the CBD?
Well, that's another thing too is that we don't pay. We spend
we negotiate.
We spend almost $0 on our advertising because people want to be part of our event.
Right.
So when they heard about the CBD Expo, boom, the radio station's called. So there's an exchange of value there.
So I'm working with Gold Coast for the Latino Business Expo, which is Rico Mambo.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing I'm on their show tomorrow morning, actually.
Oh, cool.
And then I'm working with Cumulus for the CBD Expo, which I'm going to be putting some stuff together. So
how did they receive the CBD thing? Do you get pushback from them? Do they need a lot of
explanation? They understand that they want exposure. They're in the exposure business. Right? And radio stations right now, look, we're doing a podcast.
Right.
Right? I'm not kidding. I listen to 2 to 3 hours a day of podcasts. Every day.
Bless you.
Okay, so I'm adding yours to the mix. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. And these radio stations, they've seen that writing on the wall, just like the newspapers. The newspapers did not see the writing on the wall. They thought this internet thing is all bullshit. Nobody's going to, people are going to be journalists.
Forever.
Go buy a Star-Free Press. That thing's 4 pages?
Yeah, no, that thing's like a flyer.
People are using it to wipe their windshields with it. That's why they got people on the corners over here on Sundays selling newspapers for $1 or whatever. That money goes directly to those people. The newspaper doesn't make any money because they're trying to prove to their advertisers, hey, we can get you this exposure because there's readability and blah, 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 blah. Nobody reads the shit. All the millennials, you see reading a newspaper?
No.
Hell no, everything's on fucking Facebook.
Well, when I brought up the CBD Health and Wellness Expo to my friends at Gold Coast, I was told, well, we're not sure if we can do that. I said, it's okay. I said, it's okay. They're my friends. I said, I'm not forcing nothing. And then I was approached by Cumulus Radio. And they spoke. He was talking to me and he goes, no, we're good. We already have commercials with CBD. We've seen it. We have them on our radio. So we're good to go. I got a green light to work a deal with you. So I'm meeting with him on Wednesday. I don't know, he's got some ideas. I got ideas. And, I'm not shy. And I try to teach people all the time that you have to put a value on yourself. I know what my value is when it comes down to marketing and promoting and bringing people together. I put people in front of you. That's what we do.
And it's different with us versus regular business that would go to the radio station. It's like, well, you're our customer. They're not going to cut you any deals. Unless you're spending a ton of money, they'll give you a discount. But with us, it's different. We're kind of like in the same realm. Because we're doing media,
if you sell radio, and you could be at an event where there's over 100 different businesses that want to advertise, wouldn't you want to be there?
Yeah, for sure.
So they have leverage, we have leverage, and it's a great relationship. I'm not saying radio helps if you got the budget for it and you got the time or you got the skill to work with them. I've seen what radio does. The bottom line for us is that we've been really good at working and building relationships across the board here in Ventura County that we work with people, we get invited onto shows and we do stuff, and we always respect every outlet of advertising, and it's just the relationship that we built with these guys.
Yeah, they're there to make money, but they want to help business too, because if those businesses aren't spending money at their events, on their radios, they're out of business, man. Next thing you know, it becomes iHeartRadio or whatever. Yeah. They end up owning everybody, right? And but locally it is a little different, because these guys, they, it's still kind of a farming community to a certain degree, And,
hey, so bringing it back to the CBD Expo, how do you guys plan on educating, my tia and my abuela who don't speak English?
That's going to come over time. Some of it, what I'm hoping to do.
I have a bilingual person that's going to be speaking, Bonnie Atmore, really? Who is in the healthy, clean living of CBD, and she's very well versed, and she's also part of the Women in Cannabis group. So there's going to be bilingual people there, information, but I can't sit there and say I'm going to have that represented at a booth as speaker, because again, right now this is our first event, and we're basically throwing our hat in the ring. We're going to put on a great event. That's just what we do. We put on good events, and we're going to learn from every single one of them. I'm still learning stuff from the one that I'm on number 23 with. Things never amaze me, the stuff that I learn from people or situations. But
one of the things I want to do too, and I want to increase it over time, is when you talk about the coverage, how do we educate people, is that I'm hoping to broadcast live. As you can see, we have all the equipment to do it, to stream live from the event.
We have bilingual vendors there, like Sana Gente, Myra, she's bilingual, fluently bilingual. Like I said, Bonnie Atmore is bilingual. Those are just the two that I can think of right now, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be bilingual.
But all that's going to change over time. So the more we do our part to, like I said, if we do a live stream from there on YouTube and Facebook and maybe Twitter, I could broadcast all those at the same time. Over time, we'll be able to get that dialed in. It'll get better and better and better. And
that's the other thing. We can ask for some bilingual handouts.
And with that, like I said, depending what the audience, you got to deliver what they want, right? Like you said, how are you gonna educate, my abuelita or my tia or somebody like that?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. The Mexicanas, abuelitas and abuelitos, they know more about weed, the medical purposes of pot. My mom, when in the 70s, used to send me to get weed. And they would put it in their. They know the medical purposes. They know more than the people in the U.S. They're more holistic than most people.
But going back to the educating part, what we could do, because we have the capabilities here. See, most other people that would do an expo like this, they're not going to have my background. Okay, they're not going to have invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in the equipment that we have. So what I'm hoping is we're going to do the same thing. When we launched the Latino Expo, we did a lot of interviews. We interviewed a lot of vendors and this and that. Here it's probably going to be more than that. So we're going to be able to either before the expo or after the expo, go to those vendors, go to those dispensaries, and say, hey, look, this is audience that we want to reach. We want to give you some free exposure. We're not going to charge them for it, because if we do that for free, do you think that vendor's going to come to the next event? He's going to do that every single event. So. And right now, there's not that many vendors locally. Some of them are coming in from different areas, and there's a lot of them that are like, they're coming in from other areas because the dispensaries carry their product line.
Right.
So they don't reside here. But the more and more of that we do, all we're doing is we're creating this big net that's just grabbing people. And another reason why our events are so successful is, and you'll see it, is that when most of the time it starts with him, or if I upload a video, what'll happen is our vendors they become like super fans. They start to share our stuff because they want a lot of people there. So that's how we get that's how we don't have to spend a ton of money in advertising, because we're showing them how networking and social media works. So they start to do that. So once we start doing the educational part, I think it's just going to go viral. People are going to say, holy shit, man, I want to be part of that. Can I come speak? Or maybe maybe you're doing an interview with somebody, say, Richard, can you come down here and film it? So we'll film it while you're doing the interview, so you can be asking those questions, and we broadcast it, so we double dip on it. Little things like that. That's how we partner, and we're doing things that are really different, and it's hard to understand unless.
Well, I like the fact that we're trying to keep it local. We really are trying to, force that into the equation of local businesses. It's better for networking. It's better for marketing. It's better for branding. It's better for building relationships. I'm constantly trying to get my vendors to collaborate with each other. There's got to be a way to do it. There's got to be a way you guys can do things together. It's not always about competition. Figure things out. Packaging. Who do you use for packaging? Find out a way to save some money and to make your product better.
Those local businesses, what's real important about that, because we went through that through through 2007, through the financial debacle back then, is that to me it's real important that we have a real healthy local business community, because back when, I don't know if it was Schwarzenegger or whoever, I forget who was governor at the time, all these big corporations, I don't know if you remember, they're all leaving the state. Oh, yeah. Fuck California, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And we had one of the strongest economies on the planet, and it went until we were like way down on that list. Well, within about a 6-year period, we moved all the way up to about the 6th largest economy in the world. How is that even possible if all these big companies left? You know why? Because small business said, fuck you, big business, and the small business
are supporting each other.
And I think that's why the cities now are starting to recognize that, because even with the licenses that they're offering here in Oxnard, they don't want an outside business coming in. They want a local person to be able to benefit from that, because they know the money's going to stay local. So we're kind of doing the same thing. And if we do, and if you look at historically, like the recessions, it doesn't matter who's president, whether it's Trump or Clinton, it doesn't matter. The data's there. We're going to have a recession, or how big it goes, we don't know. But there will be one around 2020. The data is there. I know it. I've been in the real estate industry for a long time.
Yeah, it happens cycles about every 10
It's going to cycle.
Years.
The last one took a lot longer to recover from, but a lot of those characters got, they're not going to allow that again. So I don't think it's going to be as hard. But during that recession, we need small businesses to be kicking ass, because, the local communities do stand behind those businesses. So we want those businesses to succeed. We want more and more local businesses. And we have a thriving economy here. A lot of people don't realize it. I mean, I get to see I go to a lot of cities, man. I'm telling you, there's something really magical about this area that's different. I mean, we can do business out there, but it's different here. And so we got to keep that going. I mean, with us, we're right in the middle of the meltdown, and we're selling out expos. Why? Because we train these people to go out there and say, hey, you know what? I don't know if I should do this and this. I mean, I'd have private conversations with excuse me, ladies that are listening to the show, but I used to tell the guys, hey, grow some fucking balls and go out there and knock on the goddamn door. Show up at an event. If you're at an event, we had people, remember, they'd be sitting behind the table like this. And then there's a person right across them, talking, interacting, and saying, why don't you learn from that?
2 of my vendors in the same business. Oh. I don't want to say the names.
Telecom. Phone service.
Yeah, telecommunications. One of them sent their hourly rate employees to sit behind a vendor booth. And the other one sent their A-team. They sent the crew. One of them sold 36 contracts. One of them sold 1.
Well, the hourly employee don't give a shit.
Okay, yeah. So, exactly. So, I've always tell my vendors, you send the people who stand to make money from being there. And if they are hourly rate employees, give them some kind of bonus compensation per lead or per sale or per something. Make it valuable to them. Don't send a minimum wage employee to my event.
You're just punching the clock.
Don't do that unless you just want them to sit there and hand something out. And personally, myself, I hate chairs behind the booth, but I have to get them because people want to sit down and take breaks. For 4 hours, you kidding me? I was a bartender. I stand on my feet for 12 hours. I would hustle, work, make money. If I got my business, my product in front of me, I can stand in front of it for 4 hours.
Have you been to Latino Business Expo?
No, not yet.
Oh,
okay. Have you seen the videos or pictures of it?
Yeah.
Okay. To me, I tell people that have gone there, it's like, how can you not make any money? I mean, it's the only event. I mean, it's hilarious because we do our event, we draw thousands of people to come to the event. A week or so later, a couple of chambers do their little events. There's like 100 people that show up. And it's like, they're doing it, they have to do it, because they're committed to, they have to do what they have to do. But they come to our event to try to recruit people, right? So it's like, if you have 2,000-3,000 people coming in front of you, I mean, dude, if you can't sell, then you need to go get a job. Seriously.
Well, there's personalities that aren't cut for that. They're not cut for that. They need their direction.
They're fooling themselves. And so we provide so many opportunities along the way so they can learn. And Adam will tell people, he has a couple of guys, hey, How long have I been telling you to, and now what they'll do is that they'll come to our mixers, they'll give away, sample, or they'll give away gifts and this and that. And the first thing, every time we raffle something off, okay, this is brought to you by blah, blah, blah companies right there, go talk to them, and we tell them, you better be talking to them because you're going to give them a gift, at least say, hey, thank you, or, whatever. And
we do, you saw what we do.
Yeah.
We do introduction. We connect the dots. Hey, go say thank you to this guy that provided the door prize, and then that's your job. That's your job to say, hey, how's it going? My name's so and so. I'm from here. So the introduction is everything in business.
We want them to gain confidence because, like I said, people have this mentality. There's a lack of abundance. That's in their head.
Yeah.
This morning I had 16 business owners in the Expo networking group. Every Monday morning we meet at Tomas Cafe. Anybody and everybody's welcome. If you have a business and you want to give a shout out, you want to start learning how to network, we take people under our wings and we show them the ropes. We teach them. We tell them things that they need. We tell them how to approach it. We teach them how to present. We teach them the 40-second commercial, a 30-second commercial. These are all things that you learn about your product. We teach people and we tell them to learn as much about their own product as they possibly can.
So, is there a lot of need for that, especially in the Latino community? Like, far as like, because okay, so coming from the cannabis side, I know a lot of people out there really talented growers. I know a lot of people out there really talented at what they do, but as far as putting together a business plan, because they want to go legit, they have no idea where to start, and that's part of the education that I'm trying to tell them. They have to get. It's all like, look, you need to learn your craft, but you need to learn.
They need to get up in the morning.
Thing, man.
With some of our private groups, we give them personality tests so they can, and we already know kind of where they land in there. But it's funny because there's one personality type. It's they give them animal names. They call them a beaver. They need all this information. It's
paralysis by analysis.
And they never pull the trigger on stuff. They suck at business sometimes because they think everybody else is like them. And so by us administering these tests, you're able to understand different personality types. Well, I'm like this, but this guy's like that. I need to only give them this information because they're also going to tell them to go fuck off. And vice versa. There's other people that are party animals, this and that. They like to have fun. And we know that this works. And there's a lot of need for that within just in general. I mean, I travel all over the world. I was in Spain a month ago, and I was training a group out there. Same thing. I helped a company, was about 6-7 years ago. They had an affiliate model. They brought in about 70,000 customers, and they couldn't, or members into their platform. They couldn't grow past that. One of the partners they split off. They relaunched in Asia. They asked, hey, can you build a system out for us? I said, yeah, but I need to train the people. It goes back to the training. That fucking company in 18 months brought in 11 million paid members. Same guy. He took one company of 70,000 members, another one to 11 million. It was because you got to get people the tools. And they don't realize that the tools are out there. But there comes a point where you got to pull the trigger. If you don't pull the trigger, you're going to be sitting there on your ass like, this thing doesn't work. I mean, I'm sitting here multitasking. We're here talking to you. I'm trading cryptocurrency on my computer, So it's like there's ways to make money, but people just have to, they just got to pull their heads out of their ass, because when the shit hits a fan, that's what was really interesting to me. And I had predicted this with the real estate agents, because real estate was booming, really. And anybody the guy was driving a Frito-Lay truck one week. The next week, he was already selling real estate. And because he put a sign on there, and it was a buyer's market, boom. I know everything about real estate. Yeah, okay, we'll see. Fucking real estate took a dump. All those people went back to selling tacos because they didn't educate themselves. They didn't go out there and do the marketing. It got to their head.
Well, what the brokers were doing, they were paying for the licensing for a lot of realtors and sending them out there in the field just to get leads. And that's all they did. And then they brought it back and the broker would try to work the deal. But they had no, a lot of them didn't have it.
But you see that just in business in general. What happens when times are good, people get real comfortable. And when the shit's a fan, all of a sudden everybody wants to do something. And then sometimes it's too late. You lose your job. I got a guy, he emailed me today, goes, hey, I saw something on your website, you're looking for a graphic artist. And I trained that guy like 20 years ago. I got him a job over at Sage Publishing up here in Newbury Park. And, but it's like, I know the guy is, he's comfortable, he doesn't attend conferences, or he doesn't, he try to start a business just doing artwork, from home, but the guy, gets lazy, but as soon as the shit hits the fan, now that he doesn't have a job, he's like scrambling to, what do I do now?
All of a sudden there's motivation.
Dude, you should have been out there networking. You should have been going to our events. I mean, we have a business where we do custom printing on demand for shirts. I mean, it's like, you need one shirt, undershirts, full color. We can crank it out. I told him, dude, you should have already been cranking out shirts. You're a great artist. But now, he doesn't have time to crank out designs because he's out there trying to get a job. In business, the same thing happens. People they need that education, but they need, I don't know if it's mentorship. They sometimes they just need to be pushed so they can see if they can really do it. Because if not, they need to start looking at maybe you should be doing something else or something a bit different that will give you a little bit of cash while you figure this stuff out. Because
one of the things that, so the people that are trying to go from the cannabis industry to get into, like you were saying, a more regular mainstream business, they already got a leg up on one of the biggest problems for people trying to open up a business is that they have a budget. They have money to work with. Okay, so the key thing is to put together the product, get the location, and then budget your marketing. And you work these things and you do them right and you do them clean. And you just, like I say, you go through that business, you just do it right. And you do everything clean so that there's no questions about, your product or your business. But marketing is a key thing. You know how many businesses I know that open up their businesses and don't have a budget for marketing and they're closing their doors in less than a year because they spent $100,000 on the building or on the product, and then they hired and they weren't anticipating these costs or whatever, and they never had a budget. You should have, I believe it's close to 30%, of what you bring in, you should be setting aside for marketing and advertising for your budget. You can do it on 20%.
And the marketing doesn't necessarily have to be ads. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of it is
just
sweat equity.
Showing up, doing things, working.
Because a lot of these spas, right, there's a lot of people getting into the CBD business, and that's why we want to bring everybody together so everybody can see the variety of what's out there. But a lot of these, like, salons and stuff, they're not just going to sell your product. They're going to sell their products. And guess what? If Adam's a CBD guy, and he's knocking on their door once a week, like they used to do, like the title reps. Hey, how's it going? Just check
like a title rep?
Blah, blah, blah. Whose product do you think they're going to be selling?
Yeah.
You can have a better product, but there's fuck that. This guy comes in here and
do business with personalities.
It might even be a knockoff product. It can be a white label product that everybody's selling. So again, it is education, but they got to go out there and do it, and it's going to be interesting.
At the CBD shows, one of the things I notice is that it's not a. They got to focus on the health and wellness and product base, the knowledgeable people at the booth about the product. I've seen one table, I'm not going to say the name, but they had like 8 girls trying to get leads.
They're flashing boobs.
None of them could answer a question.
Sure.
They don't know anything. They got brought in just for the day. That was it.
Speaking full sentences. Or I'm not sure, but every time I asked 3 different one of them at that booth a question about the product, and they couldn't answer it.
Basic questions.
So and they're a popular company, but they're using sex to sell type thing. But I think knowledge of a product will win that battle every time, because people that are going to come to my event, I'm telling them that if you want to learn about it, please come, because you're misguided. You don't understand. I try to talk to a lot of people about CBD not being a drug. Okay, I don't even think pot is a drug. So to me, it's like so far out in left field with their knowledge of the product.
But even those guys there, right? Okay, they're using models in the car industry. You go to car shows; they've been doing it for years, right? The beer industry, tequila, everybody does it. But here's the thing. Something as simple as that, a major goof up. They should have sat them down, right? Again, it boils down to the education on both sides of it. They should say, look, you're really good looking. A lot of people are going to approach you, this and that. It would have been just something very simple. The girl
A,
could have
B's,
said,
and C's.
like he asked her
couple
something.
Of highlights.
Well, not even that. So like Adam says, well, can you tell me a little bit about this? That's a really good question. Let me bring you over here and introduce you to so-and-so. Instead of saying, I don't know, he's a flyer. That's what it was. It was like some bimbo. Wow. I mean, it was like, so it was stupid, man. And the thing is that too many people, and again, all that's going to get sorted out over time. Right now, it's like the Wild West, and there's no sheriff in town.
No, everybody's throwing their hat in. It's going to get interesting in the next couple of years to see who actually.
It's going to be like what happened with realtors in 2006. Everybody wants to be a realtor, Everybody's wanting to be in this business. People are contacting me and they want to, because I'm doing the expo. Hey, you got any investment opportunities? I go, you're going to have to come to the expo and figure it out. I said, because I'm not in the CBD business. I'm not. Not that I won't be or get into it later once I learn more, because I'm learning more about it every day. And
but even the dispensaries,
So I get Expo CBD, put my own label on it, find a good product, buy it in bulk, and put my own label. And then I can just do my own events, and I'll be exclusive at my own events, at all of them.
I went into a dispensary.
I'm too nice a guy to do that.
They only had 2 brands. But hard work is one thing, and I know a lot of these people are, they're working hard, but they need to look and see what's going on, and it's not about just working hard. Yeah, some people can bust through and have success.
And networking can be face to face. It can be on social media, but ultimately, very rarely is somebody going to give you a chunk of money without meeting you. And if you're one of those people that are the greatest contact in the world on social media, and then I meet you in person and I can't have a conversation with you, or I can't talk to you, I can't figure you out, I'm not going to do business. I'm not going to do business with you. I like to know who I'm working with. And I can tell I've been a salesman since the age of 7. Produce, I started door to door with produce.
But one of the things they always say, right, it's like, well, I don't know who to talk to, this and that. And you heard of meetup.com?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things when I teach the people in LA, the sales teams out there, is that they complain about that. I don't know where to go, this and that. Really? Come here. I have them type this in on your computer. Right, I have them go to meetup.com. I have them type in the topic. And I say, look, right there, that group has 12,000 people. This one has 600 people. And these are within like 5 miles of your house.
Yeah, if you want to network, you can network. Even if you go to...
There's something out there. Even in Ventura County, he finds a place to network every fucking day.
Oh, yeah. Actually, sometimes I'll hit 3 or 4 events a day.
He's not even going to the top of the hill. He's most of it's down here. Yeah. He only goes up there...
This tequila tasting that I'm going to at the Blue Agave restaurant tonight is by invitation. But who do you think they're inviting there? They invited me there because of my social media, because they know that when I get there, I'm going to check in and I'm going to promote their restaurant. I have an excellent functioning Facebook page, and it gets a lot of likes, a lot of
engagement.
I can reach 100,000 people in a matter of a week with the posting by just adding please share at the bottom of my post, because my friends, my people, I'm affiliated, I'm connected to a lot of the best networkers in Ventura County. So I share their events, they share my events. We help each other out. It's what makes the world go around. Collaboration's everything, and that's the sooner. And I have noticed that with some of my vendors that have called asking questions, is very competitive for them. I'm going to be in a room with my competition. I go, are you not secure about your product? What's the problem? Because it is a CBD health and wellness expo. Okay, it is. That's the whole event. Yeah, it's going to be health and wellness and CBD, and they want to know numbers. I go, look, the event's not sold out yet. Everything can change. I'm not going to give you numbers that I can't deliver on. I refuse to do that.
And even someone that's new,
and they're trying to dictate my event.
I tell people, look at it like R&D, right? If you're not that experienced, you go, oh, like research and development. I go, no, rob and duplicate, because if you're there, you watch them. People that are top of their game, they're all following the same pattern. So do the same thing. Who cares? There's so many people that you can't talk to everybody at our event. It's impossible. So, I would love to have, and again, it boils down to confidence, because to me, I would never sell a shit product, but I know that if I was selling a shit product, I'll outsell the guy selling the best product, because at the end of the day, you got to network with them. You got to talk.
I'm going to give you another example with tequila.
All right.
Especially tequila.
You go pay $60 for a bottle of Patron. Okay? You get the same bottle of a brand that didn't have the marketing budget, that should be sold for over $100, but it's the same price. It's all about tasting and going to events and figuring out. Patron is nowhere near a level of tequila. I don't even drink it myself. They have certain bottles that are good, but they're 150 on up. But it's all about advertising. Patron has a great marketing. They got millions of dollars in their marketing every year, millions. And the other companies are smaller. They have a great tequila, but they don't have a budget for marketing. happens every day.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you for coming out, man.
This has been awesome. Really educational for me.
Well, if anybody's interested in the CBD Expo that's listening today, just
why don't you let everybody know how to reach out to you guys?
Well, you can reach me at 805-216-1927. You can get more information about the expos that we're involved with at expomarketing.us. And you can also email me at adam@expomarketing.us.
Or type in Latino Business Expo on Facebook.
That's right. Follow us on Facebook. Adam Casillas, Latino Business Expo, Richard Ramos, all on Facebook. We're, Instagram also, Snapchat.
And if you're local, come out to the event, check it out. It's going to be pretty cool.
If you're bored, you want to see what it's about tomorrow night, you want to sample some complimentary tequila, gold medal award-winning tequilas, and some good food, we're going to be at Ruby's Fresh Mexican Food and Tequila Bar in Camarillo. I believe the address is 2508 Las Posas Road.
Right on. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much. Everybody else, hang tight. I'm going to play some music, and then I'll be right back.
So there you go. That was Adam and Richard. Those are the two guys putting on the CBD Health and Wellness Expo coming up on November 9th. Don't forget, if you have a question or a comment about this episode, please send me an email. That is inmygrow@gmail.com, or find me on Instagram at inmygrow. Well, brothers and sisters, hermanos y hermanas, that is all I have for you today. Those are the end of my notes. Thank you again for taking the time to listen to this longer episode. Not too much longer, just a little bit longer. Now, don't forget, if this show has entertained you, educated you, or even given you a little escape from your day, go over to patreon.com/inmygrow and leave a financial donation. Now, that money just helps me pay for different hosting fees and buy some equipment. It just helps me keep the show going. If you don't want to leave a donation at Patreon, go over to inmygrow.com, click on the Support the Show tab, and buy a t-shirt. Another easy way you can support the show is before you go over to Amazon, click on the Amazon link in the show notes of this episode, because that just lets them know that we sent you and we get a commission. Now, if you can't support the show financially, don't worry about it. I get it. Here's how you can help. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Subscribe to the website, inmygrow.com. And then subscribe to the YouTube channel, InMyGrow. And then after you do all that subscribing, just go ahead and tell 3 other people about the show. Really simple. All right, mis amigos, I'm going to get up out of here. You know that I love you all very much. And remember to always grow, learn, and teach.